Muchachos y muchachas, emergency video because big breaking news broke tonight that Virginia Roberts Giuffre, the victim of Jeffrey Epstein's orbit, has allegedly hit the delete button on herself. For anyone like me, and I think most people, this sounds very familiar and fishy, as it did a few years ago when Jeffrey Epstein's very parallel reasoning for him being, taken out of scene. I don't know. It just seems very coincidental. It seems very convenient. Also, in her own words, I want to read you an archived tweet in which she tweeted back in 2019. She was quote tweeting somebody and responding to this one, Don Von Crump, who said, FBI will, her to protect the ultra rich and well connected. Virginia Roberts Giuffre responded to this and said, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I hitting the delete button. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. Now, if you remember, just a few weeks ago, I believe it was about 3 weeks, a month ago, Virginia Roberts Giuffre posted on social media that she got in an auto accident and that she was facing renal failure, and she claimed herself that she only had 4 days to be on this earth. This was the picture that she posted on her social media. Now, I am going to give you my very honest personal opinion. This is not going to be very sensitive to this look, right? This is probably going to sound insensitive, so I'm just going to forewarn you. But let's just rip the Band-Aid off. I do not believe that this is actual bruising. I believe that this, as a makeup artist myself who has done special effects, I personally believe that this was a manufactured look. That's just my personal opinion. Again, I do know that sounds insensitive, but I just got to give it to you how I see it. Now, for her to, let's just think about the details here. Okay. This is we're going to go into a testimony of the bus driver that actually got into the crash with her. Now, let's just think about the order of events here. Anybody who would get in a big auto accident like that would cause some sort of internal organ failure, you would expect that a victim of this type of crash would be much more swollen than what we see here. Now, again, what I see in front of me, I see possibly a lot of grain added to the picture. I don't know if this was like lowered in quality, if you will, when they posted this, like the news publication Daily Mail. But again, there's a lot of, I'll say, well-placed color. And again, that's just my personal opinion. Someone who has done special effects in the past, someone who has done bruising as far as theatrical makeup. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. I believe someone who has internal organ damage, as she claims, renal failure, which is I don't know how that relates to an accident. I would think she would be much more swollen and unrecognizable than this. Okay. Now, this post right here, this is just some coverage on her Cryptic social media post right before she hit the delete button, apparently, allegedly. And so Daily Mail is basically, going through some of her social media posts, in which this is a story. Now, okay, we're going to put on some tinfoil hats here because I don't see how we can't put on a tinfoil hat in light of what we're just learning right now. So this is a story that she posted on her Instagram, it so seems, or Facebook. And it's basically a song, Gautier, somebody that I used to know. Now, in my personal opinion, what is this given off? This is given very witness protection, possibly. People are going to look at this and also read, hitting the delete button. In my personal opinion, I believe that I don't think that she's deleted. I think that she went into some sort of protection. That's my personal opinion. That's my quick opinion here. Okay. So I am actually, okay, so let's read some of this. This year has been the worst to start a new year, but I won't bore anyone with the details it added. I'm ready to go, just not until I see my babies one last time, but you know what they say about wishes. S in one hand, I wish, in the other, I guarantee it's going to be a S at the end of the day. Okay, thank you all for being so wonderful people of the world and for being a great part of my life. God bless you all. XX Virginia. Okay, now, you know, all that out the way, social media. So there was some social media commentary that she left. That story, somebody that I used to know, to me, that screams you're changing your identity somehow, right? And again, I know I sound pretty insensitive for those that actually believe the mainstream narrative here. Now, I wanted to go through this because I did not realize that there was an actual exclusive interview with the bus driver that got into the accident with her a few weeks ago. Now, I do remember seeing a headline back at that time that the police actually reported no injuries, that there was a police on scene and that they reported no injuries, something to that matter. If I do find that headline, I'll edit it in this video as an overlay. But I wanted to go through this interview because I thought that this was pretty substantial and this screams fishy. And when I say screams fishy, I mean the car crash story that she told us on social media, and then her allegedly hitting the delete button tonight. Okay, so this is the exclusive bus driver crash testimony. Rose Munns is the bus driver. Ross Munns contradicted Virginia's account of the incident and insisted that the car was a minor collision, basically saying that Virginia Roberts Giuffre exaggerated this story on social media. In an exclusive interview with Mail Online, he claimed that the crash had been blown out of proportion and accuses Ms. Giuffre of exaggerating the severity of what happened. Mr. Munn said that the crash happened after he had followed a slow-moving white car for 3 kilometers before deciding to overtake it when it went under 75, and it was safe for him to pass it around 3 p.m. on Monday last week, or that week. He said that the white Toyota Highlander involved in the collision was driven by a 71-year-old woman who he believed to be Giuffre's carer. Okay, so 71-year-old woman who believed to be Miss Giuffre's carer. He said he had no recollection of Miss Giuffre being in the Toyota, but a police report into the incident later stated that the woman, age 41, was a passenger. Okay, so let me just recap here. So the bus driver is saying, I don't even remember seeing another passenger in this car crash. Now, if anybody has been in a car crash, which I'm sure much of the public has, I know I have been in before, you know that you're gonna see unless it's a multi-car crash, like you get in a 3-car crash or whatever. If it's just like a one-on-one, you get an offender bender, you're gonna see who's in the car, right? You can see the silhouette, you can see them get out the car. You know, you got to get out and report incidents to the police, take insurance, things like this. Usually all the passengers there. I don't think it's natural for a passenger to stay in the car, for that matter. Okay, so this bus driver is saying, I don't remember Virginia Roberts Giuffre being in that car. I only remember the 71-year-old lady. Okay, so this is the bus driver. Some fragments of the accident. This is just a recreation of the accident, how it happened. All right. So it says Mr. Munn said that he had about 29 children still on board of the bus as he began his maneuver, only for the car to suddenly start turning right in front of him to get into a rural property north of Perth, Western Australia. Now, so this bus driver is claiming that the car cut him off and he tried to brake, and that's where he clipped the car. Now, that is a significant piece of information because that tells me that if this was intentional, then we can start to connect the dots of what's going on. You know, was this a manufactured incident in order to build a police report, in order to then feed this narrative to the public that Virginia Roberts Giuffre indeed did suffer some sort of car accident injury, right? It's very, I don't know, it just seems so obvious to me again. And again, I could seem very insensitive if you actually believe the mainstream narrative. Anyway, so he said that the car actually cut him off and he tried to brake and he could not. So Mr. Munns, the bus driver for 16 years, said that he beeped his horn, but he was unable to avoid clipping the car, damaging its tail light in what he described as a minor collision. He said he immediately stopped and went to check the car driver, who was also pulled over, and was satisfied that she was not hurt. Mr. Munns said he and the 71-year-old woman swapped details, including the phone numbers, and were both able to drive away afterwards, but he decided to report the incident to the police as he felt the circumstances felt a little sus. Okay, so that's a little weird, right? And I definitely have been in the situation of a car accident where the driver just seems a little suspicious, or, you know, they were doing something intentional, right? You can always feel it. You could just, you know, you could tell that something's off. So I don't know. Let me continue. He insisted that he was under no obligation. He insisted that he was under no obligation to report the crash, as the law only required accidents to be reported if they caused more than $2,000 in damage. And in his view, the incident did not pass the threshold. Mr. Munn said that he later telephoned the driver as a courtesy to say that he had reported the accident, and she rang him back the next day to say there had been a passenger in the car who had suffered a black eye. Okay, and that's it. That's all this caretaker lady, allegedly, apparently this only lady that was in the car. But now that they're claiming that Virginia Roberts Giuffre was in the car, she's only saying that Virginia Roberts suffered a black eye. She didn't say anything about she had internal damage or anything else. The bus driver said that he was horrified to see Miss Giuffre's Instagram post claiming that she had been injured when a school bus had plowed through into her car at a speed of 110 kilometers, as buses in Western Australia are restricted to a top speed of 100 kilometers. Describing Ms. Giuffre's claims and circumstances of the crash, he said, "It's just all blown out of proportion, and I know what happened. I didn't even see her in the car." Okay. I think this is a pretty stark testimony here. He said the accident was caused by the carrier, saying the driver basically pulled out in front of me. I made sure she was all right, and when I did a police report. Mr. Munns added she was elderly, and I asked if she was okay. She said, "Yes, I'm okay." Asked if she lived here, and she said, "No, I'm a carer." And I told her she needs to put her indicator on when you have a turn. So apparently this lady cut this bus off and didn't even put her blinker on. So this, I don't know, this is seeming more and more fishy and intentional the more that I look at it. So anyway, the article, as it goes on, it gets repetitive with the same details we just learned about and read. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And I'm sure we're going to get some more narrative from the mainstream tomorrow or overnight. And if it's anything significant, then I'll come back and make a video about it. But if you're like me, again, yeah, we're looking at this sideways, right? Let me know what your theories, your comments, your feelings, your sentiments are on this story. Thank you guys so much. I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.